Welcome to Workplace Culture Store. This is fourth in a series of videos that will give you a glimpse into the philosophies and research that went into our virtual engagement experiences and the approach we take to strategically shaping culture and engagement for our clients and partners. I am your host and owner of Workplace Culture Store, Michelle Rochon-Wood. The exercise I'm about to describe to you was conducted with 200 people, and since then, many have been added to that list. When you hear about the 15 types of play, you will probably respond much like those interviewees. You'll find perhaps 3 to 5 that mean a lot to you. Your choice of career will probably show up there. You'll also find what you enjoy in your leisure time. You might even cry a few tears. You'll discover you could have been playing all this time and enjoying it, being healthy and productive too. As we go through each play type, think about the survival advantage that each type provides the human species. The easiest way to do that is to imagine children and adults in an ancient village of the first Homo sapiens community to walk the planet. What was life like on Earth for them? If their children engaged in this type of play, what might it teach them about surviving in their world as a species without sharp teeth, or big claws, or the strength and size of a woolly mammoth? Let's get started. So these are the 15 types of play. I'm going to go through each one at a time. 1, role play. As soon as a toddler can watch adults and recognize language and movement, he or she mimics. Day by day, a baby enters toddlerhood, combining words, phrases, and actions into new and more complex role play. This type of play allows a child to practice interacting with peers, older children, and adults. This preparation is essential to later engaging in and maintaining beneficial relationships. In high school, the role-playing kid might gravitate to improvisational theater. They probably enjoy movies, role-playing, video games, reality TV. They will often have an extensive network of friends and acquaintances. They're brilliant at interpreting body language. Education and marketing also involve a lot of role play. So think about the survival advantage. Rehearsing high-stakes interactions and improving social skills. Important things in those days and now. 2, storytelling. As a form of play, storytelling is like role play, but doesn't involve as much interaction with others. It may involve many children, but one child is typically engaged in the storytelling while others are a captive audience. Sometimes role play is used by a group to tell a story, like in a stage play, but it's less improvisational. As children, storytellers love books and story time with mom and dad. They enjoy imagining what would happen if. Once they learn to read and write, just try and stop them. They'll read all the books in the house and venture to the library for more. Give them a pen and paper, they'll create picture books and stories of their own. In adulthood, Steven Spielberg was probably an accomplished storyteller as a child. His medium of choice, an old 8mm camera. Storytellers usually become writers, or they enter a field in which they have a lot of exposure to stories, such as manuscript or film editing. They love books and movies. They're probably good with relationships, but introverts at heart. 3, nurturing. A child observes nurturing from the moment of birth. Mom or dad feeds, diapers, guides them through life. As a result, nurturing is one of the first things a child learns how to do. As an altruistic social species, humans develop the ability to nurture each other for continued survival. In adulthood, nurturers derive joy from providing care, affection, and validation to someone or something smaller than themselves. In adulthood, a nurturer will gravitate to charitable causes, medicine, childcare. He or she might become a political activist, lobbying for the well-being and rights of others. They might be farmers, zoologists, veterinarians. Nurturers often join the clergy or enter social work, counseling. For recreation, they might volunteer to coach a sports team for kids or organize a community garden. 4, humor. A baby laughs for the first time at about 5 weeks old. The ability to laugh is essential to living successfully within human family groups, which is why it develops early. To our knowledge, no other species laughs quite like we do. If it's unique to us, that means it performs an important function for the complex brain of a thinking organism. It's a good bet that laughter is strongly linked to creativity, healing, learning, and all the standard outputs of play. In adulthood, humor-oriented adults are skilled at noticing funny things and pointing out to the rest of the group. The adult who loves humor will gravitate to a variety of careers, but will always make laughter part of their daily life. They might choose stand-up comedy, or they might keep a day job and do it only at amateur night. They might become cartoonists, writers, satirists. They love a good laugh, and they look for it everywhere in everything. Surround yourself with these people. They make life worth living. 5, building. Building is another skill unique to the human animal. We have hands, we walk upright, so we're free to use them, something other species can't do. This one adaptation has allowed us to change our environment to suit us, building structures, technology that allow us to live comfortably in hostile climates, communicate globally, travel, transport energy, resources. Naturally, children will play at building to hone this skill later in life. In adulthood, architects, engineers, construction workers, carpenters, craftsmen, interior designers all played at building as children. These people enjoyed it so much, they made it their career. These types will often also gravitate to building in their recreational lives. They might build cabins, play structures for their children, boats, gazebos, and even their own homes. 6, puzzles. Puzzles include the traditional jigsaw puzzle, but also crosswords, trivia, Sudoku. A child that likes puzzles is a natural problem solver. He or she is often good at chess. These kids enjoy solving mysteries, so they'll often read the latest young adult crime fiction. The popular game Jenga combines puzzles with group competition and building. Puzzles in adulthood. More puzzle lovers are out there than we think, because puzzles come in many shapes and sizes, not just the jigsaw variety. The kid who enjoys puzzles usually continues doing them in adulthood. They love solving problems, so they often become investigative reporters or accountants. They go into diagnostic medicine or forensic science, or they become code writers. Mavens of the stock market and business people enjoy solving the puzzle of how to make money. 7, wrestling. Children with siblings discover the fun of wrestling at an early age. Wrestling often becomes an expression of interchangeably brotherly, sisterly affection and the desire to affirm one's status in the group. Almost all mammal babies wrestle with siblings. It prepares young animals for the rigors of survival in packs, especially in intelligent carnivores like wolves, lions, and bears. The same is true of human children. For a child, wrestling with friends or siblings is a healthy expression of affection and loyalty, while at the same time providing exercise and developing physical skills. In adulthood, the kid that enjoys wrestling usually enjoys other physical engagements with others, such as racing, tag, Red Rover. This child later gravitates to sports that allow more tussling, such as hockey, martial arts, football, rugby. The wrestling kid grows up to join the military, law enforcement. They usually enjoy rough and tumble sports, including watching those sports on television, UFC, mixed martial arts, and boxing, for instance. 8, art. Art takes many forms in childhood. At the earliest opportunity, toddlers will take up art and promptly write with permanent marker on the nearest wall, adorned with expensive toile wallpaper. As with all people, beauty is a personal experience. For a toddler who likes art, beauty is anything they get the chance to create on their own or as part of a like-minded group, and they stand back and enjoy it. They'll paint with finger paint, food, mud, and to the profound enjoyment of their parents, even their own poop. Art in adulthood. If you ask a room full of first graders to raise a hand if they consider themselves an artist, most of the hands will go up. Within a few years, that number will dwindle. In response to the criticism they inevitably get, children soon learn to disparage their own work and give up art entirely. That's pain punishment at its finest. 9, dancing. A child will begin dancing at a young age. typically as a toddler. As soon as they hear a catchy tune on the radio, they'll helplessly launch into a jiggle, unable to stop themselves. Dancing is a natural response to music that pleases us, which is why a child will do it automatically. Dancing in adulthood. Dancing expresses joy and excitement, which makes it one of the only ways the human body moves that is directly linked to emotion. Dancing is not only good exercise, it also stimulates your emotions and creates a sense of community, particularly if it's choreographed and practiced as a group. That's why, for all of human history, dancing has been an important component of social events. Weddings, for instance, have almost always incorporated some sort of dancing, no matter the culture or religious persuasion of the guests. It's one of the best ways for people to celebrate something as a community. 10. Collecting. The collector is a kid that naturally gathers objects and keeps them. This child notices objects everywhere and stashes them away in a pocket, a pouch, taking them home to add to the collection. These might include rocks, bugs, coins, stamps, buttons, other keepsakes. To this child, every object holds a memory or a thought that is precious or amusing in some way. Collecting in adulthood. The collector usually continues to collect throughout life. It might be antiques, vintage toys, works of art. They're often power shoppers and will enjoy entire afternoons of wandering through malls and stores. A collector's home will be full of objects about which they love to tell stories. For a career, a collector will often choose purchasing or retail so that they're near objects all the time and tell stories about them and share that joy with others. 11. Music. Children begin to play at music in the first few months of life. They learn to make sounds and drum beats almost immediately. Singing to a baby is essential to brain development and is also an excellent way to soothe them when they are frightened or tired. In other words, the human brain is naturally inclined to respond favorably to music. Some toddlers will sing or hum along to the music on the radio before they speak their first words. Music in adulthood. Music is pleasurable and fun. In later years, music as a discipline helps children with math, social skills, and literacy. Seldom will you meet a person who doesn't like music. In fact, few of us ever ask others, do you like music? Instead, we ask, what sort of music do you like? It's practically a given that a person enjoys some variety of it. And many of us know how to play an instrument. Almost all of us can at least sing a simple tune. Kids who like music grow to enjoy it as adults, either playing with a band, joining a choir, or simply building a prized music collection. 12. Risk-reward. Children engage very naturally in risk-reward play. That's why we've got to watch them closely. And the risk-rewarder is the kid that rides his bicycle off a ramp into a pile of hay or snow. He or she jumps off the garage into a pile. He's always looking for a more dangerous thrill. This child likes intense sports, running, jumping. He'll dream of flying and will enjoy stories of superheroes, perhaps even imagining himself as Superman or Batman during play. This kid wants a skateboard, a surfboard, a snowboard, and a wakeboard, all on the same birthday. In adulthood, risk-reward. These kids grow to indulge in expensive toys like speedboats and muscle cars. For a career, this person will often choose investment banking, something they can indulge in risk and enjoy the rewards. They might also enter the military or law enforcement because those people tend to thrive on adrenaline. Most people have a little bit of this in them, some more than others. We all like a bit of a thrill. Risk-reward play, therefore, resonates with almost all people in a typical workplace. 13. Structured games. Structured games include sports, board games, card games, many other games with rules, players, a beginning and an end, and a winner or winners. A game teaches children patience, perseverance, social skills, mathematics, problem-solving processes, strategy, and much more. Parents and teachers use games to rear healthy, emotionally intelligent, and socially functional children. Playing games with children stimulates them on many levels. With small children, if parents are willing to tough out those sour grapes moments and they don't give up, Kids will grow to be pleasant, well-rounded adults with the ability to lose to an opponent graciously. In adulthood, kids who enjoy structured games usually grow to enjoy them as adults. Games resonate with almost all people because they can incorporate all types of play, whether it's physical, like dodgeball, or cerebral, like chess, or both, like American football, or curling, which is just chess on ice with brooms and beer. Team sports shape young people in many ways, teaching them to support each other, develop skill, discipline, and commitment. Kids who enjoy team sports often continue to play on evenings and weekends in adulthood, and they enjoy watching professional team sports too, either on television or live in the stadium. 14. Exploration. The child explorer is the kid that wanders out the front door and looks for adventure. Today, children are not as free to engage in that, so it's a good thing that reading also counts as exploring. The internet can be a good place for a child to explore, provided safety measures are in place. These kids love to discover new things. They'll draw maps, gaze at the stars through a telescope, and they love to conduct scientific experiments. In adulthood, the child explorer often grows to enjoy traveling, boating, hiking, or mountain climbing. They're naturally good at research. They gravitate to the fields of history and science. They adore the outdoors, museums, and they can spend many hours there without losing interest. They often become tour guides, travel agents, or interpreters. They become adventure outfitters, scientists, researchers. Sometimes explorers become entrepreneurs. They become museum curators, environmentalists, archaeologists, anthropologists. 15, and finally, creating games. Some kids have more imagination than others. Some have a natural bent toward leadership. If you combine these two, you have a kid that invents not just play, but games. As soon as this child plays a structured game like tag, crazy eights, or clue, he or she wants to modify the game to make it more challenging or interesting for himself and others. Creating games in adulthood. The kid that creates games is a born inventor. Later, everything this person sees, he or she wants to try to create a better version of it. But it's not just a better mousetrap. For them, it's less about creating a better gadget and more about improving the human experience. At school, these kids often thought of more interesting ways to complete an assignment or project than what was requested. What they come up with may or may not be appropriate for the assignment, but the thrill of creating something new and improved overrides the grade they'll achieve. Proceed to the next video for some exploration of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and how they relate to the continuity of play throughout the life of a Homo sapiens. Homo ludens.